Hey, what's up guys? So we finally got our save data information in game, and I'm gonna go over with you real quick. I've been looking at this shit for the last 3 hours and I have a very good understanding on how everything works. I did find some stuff that didn't make sense, but I was able to figure out why it doesn't make sense, and I'm gonna give it all to you guys, okay? So you see all the tiers here. Essentially, like, I'll go into the points in a second and what that means. But notice there's a tier here now on the map. This was a hidden value before. Now we can see what they are. As you can see, it's a different tier per every map. The tier here is affected by these. This is the base tier, pretty much. So you won't find a level 10 that's a tier 9, for example. It'll always be there. And then the mods bring it up higher. When you go in, the trauma brings it up one more tier, as you can see as I have right here. Every card in the game has a cost. All of that's right here. You can see all the costs of all the cards and everything. This epiphany only applies to neutral monster. So neutral monster, okay? Not your normal cards. Your normal card epiphanies are completely free. They don't cost anything. So I'm going to go in and show you where you can actually read up on this yourself. It is right here in this help section and the save data rules. It'll give you all of these values that I have listed over here on the side. And it'll explain everything here. One thing of note, card removal costs this, but if it's a starting card in your deck, basically basics, it costs more to remove them than other cards. So in the case of Mika, for example, Whirlpool is not a starting card. You actually save 20 points removing it, as long as you do it before it's epiphanied. If you remove it after it's epiphanied, it'll still cost you that 20 points, as you can see right here. Additional 20 points. So, for reference, to remove all of your basic cards, all basics, 100 points. Okay? And I know some of you people are going to be like, but wait, Warbalt, I removed all of my cards and this isn't true. Okay? I'm gonna show you why a lot of our builds might be going bye-bye if they do something. Maybe they're just grandfathered in. Who knows? Okay? I have Haru builds that trump this. This is a 170 build if all removal costs 100 points. I did all the math. You could look at it and do it now if you want. You can see the epiphanies. You have all the datas over here. Pause the video and add it all up if you want. This is before the patch. Okay? This is also before the patch. Like, all of these I got before November 5th, and that's when the notorious bug was going on. I strongly believe that card removal was bugged across all tiers, and it was letting you... basically, what I think that bug was, now that I know how it works, is it was only applying this 20 here one time instead of every time. And I think when you were duping cards, it was only applying, this is me spitballing, based on, like, if I'm bringing my points down to 120, this is like stuff that could have happened to do it. Right? So maybe the card dupe, since it was a different card, it reset the cost. I didn't dupe the same cost, so it cost 0 twice instead of 0 then 10. And then it only cost 20 to remove all of my basics extra, so it only cost 60 instead of 100. So that makes the 170 minus the 50 extra points down to 120. I think that's what the bug was doing. And if I go across other characters, I kind of like see different irregularities, like in why that the shit doesn't match. And then you also have units that are just like crazily like oversaved, like my Cassius that is at 250. So like, there was a lot of bugs going on with everything, and it was allowing you to do stuff you just can't do, and etc. Right? So this Cassie isn't even good, and it's literally 100 points over what I'm allowed to actually save. But going forward, like when I was looking at Mei Lin, all the builds were like correct, pretty much, because you don't overreach in your card removal. So the card removal never got hit with the bug, right? Because you don't remove the basics. And all the points are relatively low scores. See, as you can see here, we could do this one together really quick. It has 3 Divine Epiphanies. That costs 60 points total. We have 1 card removal. It starts at 0, and then we add a 20 here. That adds up to 80. There you go. And it's like that for pretty much every build that I went through on Mei Lin. One thing of note, if we go back to here, a lot of the stuff that I was speculating on is actually true. As you can see here, monster cards are dog shit. I think we all figured that out. And neutral cards cost a lot. A neutral card costs literally the same as a Divine Epiphany. Okay? That's why when people were adding a bunch of neutral cards, it was deleting Divine Epiphanies. Or removing the neutral cards. Well, actually, it never really removed the neutrals. It removed the divines, right? So, I don't know how that priority system works. That's not revealed. But that's why all your divines are getting deleted when you were adding neutral cards, because they literally cost the same. Right? And to downgrade it to a regular Epiphany makes it cost 0. And when cards are getting thrown back in, it's just evening that point threshold out. Like I said, removing all of your basics costs 100 points. Your last removal alone, if you remove basic, the last one equals 50 points. Okay? The first two cost 50, so I can do it like this for basics example. So your first basic removal is 20, your second is 30, and then your third is 50. So just keep this in mind when you're doing your builds. I think there is literally 0 point to remove all your basics now. Do not do it. You removing all of your basics is costing you 2 God Epiphanies. If you don't have the 2 God Epiphanies, go ahead and remove the last basic. But if you have the God Epiphanies, don't do it. It's going to delete them. Or like it's going to put the card back and delete them. Or combo. You know, it's going to fuck the save up somehow. Right? So this is how this works. This is how the card removal works. We have the exact data now. If you want to know my sweet spot, this is the sweet spot I think for builds. So the tier 12 gives you 140 points. Okay, that's not even a very difficult map. That's actually a very easy map to do. So if you figure you get 4 Divine Epiphanies times 4, this is 80 points. Okay, you do your 2 card removals times 2. That is going to be 50 points. Okay? And then now you have 10 points left. Your first card duplicate is free. The second one costs 10. So now you have card dupe. There's your build. And then you just kind of modify it from here based on what you want. Let's say you only get 2 Divine Epiphanies at the end of your run. 40. Now you have room for 2 gear bags. Or, like, just say two neutrals at the end of your run. Right? You guys kind of get the gist of it now, right? It's pretty self-explanatory. If you're looking at any of your units and wondering why it's not adding up, it's because it's bugged. It's really just that simple. There's something skewing the data off in general. But it's in the game now. We know how it works. You can start catering your runs to your saves. Keep in mind, there is some cool tricks you can do now. If you get an insane build really early, and you're not wanting to hit like any like crazy epiphanies, and let's say you got a really good base build. You just finished the first boss on your Mika, right? You got the dupe, and you hit a shop, and like you're content with the build, and it's a really high tier, right? Let's say you're doing like a tier 14, and just to show you what the mods on that look like, again, I'll go back to the chaos. Like, they're insanely difficult, but you might be able to cheese these. So these are all the characters are calculated differently. What you can do is actually manipulate, like on these higher levels, all of your stuff to go into one character. So let's say you go and do card removal, and you just remove like all the cards that can epiphany from like your like some of the cards that can epiphany from your other cards, and then your epiphanies will just hit the character you're focusing on, right? So you can kind of cheese it out. And then when you get to a shop, you can add a bunch of neutral cards and then just leave and keep the save. I don't know if that works in trauma mode if you just leave and keep it. It might. I'm not sure. I don't just leave. Usually I die. But food for thought. That's something you can probably experiment around with. But this is how save data works now. Happy hunting. I'm sure there's going to be a spreadsheet somewhere for you know, everything, but realistically, this is how you do your build. I was pretty close on what you could bring out. So I said with 3 removal, you could get like 4 God Epiphanies. That is possible on a 15 plus 10. It's possible. But I said, like, I'm pretty sure I said in my video, like, removing all with 3 is doable. And that is doable on a tier 14. I've probably done tier 14s without knowing it. But I don't think removing all of your basics is worth it. It's too expensive. It's way too expensive. You could do 2 basics in a whirlpool on Mika and get away with it, because you actually save yourself that that extra 20 points that allows you to have that extra divine. So if, for example, we were going to look at Mika specifically here, how would we do this? So we have the neutrals here. Let's just take this out. Let's take the total out. So we have 2 divines at 40. We can up this to 50, right? Or to 60. And then we have 2 card removals. This is 50. But if you change one of the card removals to Whirlpool, you save yourself 20 points here. Okay. And that adds up to here now. So now you're at 100. You can turn this into 5. You can add 2 gear bags. You can add 2 rallies, and etc. You can add another dupe. That makes this dupe times 3. I think that makes it 40. Pretty sure, yeah. Dupes, yeah, 10, 30, so 40. This makes it 130. So you have an extra 10 points here. I don't know what you can do with an extra 10 points. Not really anything. You can do a card conversion, but it still gives you the extra card. Well, we have this at 3. So what you can do here is you bring this down to 2. Costs 40 points. So now you have 110 here. You have 30 left over. What you can do is a card conversion on that last basic card. So now you have a convert that you can do, which costs 10. And then the neutral card that you bring in, which costs 20. So 30. And that adds up to 140 again. This is how you do it, guys. Mess around with some combinations. The best thing you can, like, you can't really, like, you can understand what you can bring out now exactly. The combinations, what you can do. The thing is just, like, keep track of what's going on in your run. Like, you're just going to have to, like, be buddies with this thing and know your cap limit for the run that you're doing. And just make sure you're following this stuff. And that's essentially it. If you enjoyed this video, drop me a like, drop me a sub. I was literally about to pull my hair out going over this because I could not, for the fucking, I don't know, for my own fucking sanity, figure out why my Harus weren't adding up. But then a bunch of other units were. It's because basic removal was just bugged before. That has to be the only reason. And that's why it's a lot harder for me to remove all 3 cards now. It's always putting 1 back in. Because, like, I was following rules based on when it was bugged. So you can remove all 3 cards still. But I don't recommend it. It's too expensive. But, yeah. Never touch a monster card ever. Peace. Like, comment, subscribe.
You fight as if you have 9 lives. This world has no place for you.